Week 12 gave us chaos. A&M came back from the dead. Oklahoma went to Tuscaloosa and stunned Bama, and Georgia just straight up punched Texas in the mouth. We're talking Week 12 college football. We've got our Heisman power rankings plus our Nitro CFP projections. This is the Nitro College Football Show. I'm Burl.
And I'm Streit.
Like and subscribe if you love college football. So Week 12, we saw a lot of interesting things. One of the more miraculous comebacks that you'll ever see. Texas A&M comes back from 30-3, 31-3, and wins this game. And what was eye-popping was they showed a stat right at either before or after halftime, and it said the teams were like 270 something.
It's 286.
Yeah,
Southeastern Conference play since 2004 when trailing by 27 points or more at any point.
Yeah, that was insane. And they showed it, and they had it zoomed in on Mike Elko, and he was just making like the grump face. So it was more like challenge accepted.
Right. It's crazy. They said that, and it was Texas A&M it was their biggest comeback in school history, passing their 21-point rally when Johnny Manziel led them to a win in the Peach Bowl over Duke back in 2013. So just a crazy game that the first half, you wondered who the heck this team was, Texas A&M. They looked nothing like the team that they've looked like all year, this dominant, dynamic offensive team. They could do nothing. And South Carolina looked like the team that they were last year. Sellers and Nick Harbor, and they were looking great.
Yeah, Shane Beamer even he made a comment right before halftime when they do the little sideline interview right before half, and he made some kind of comment like, well, this is the same team we beat by 26 points last year, 24 points last year.
Yeah, that was dumb. And then he ran into the tunnel at halftime. He was like yelling at the fans and stuff. Man, karma, dude. Don't say stupid stuff. Like, your team is now, it was 1-6 coming in the SEC. Like, just say, yeah, man, we're playing great, and get your tail to the back. Don't curse your team, because Texas A&M came out in that second half, and Marcel Reed, people were online bashing Marcel Reed in the first half. Heisman contender. This is the real Marcel Reed. Yeah, then the second half happened.
Did you see his tweet?
No, what'd he say?
He posted something about, it was like a picture of the final score or whatever, and he said, "Sorry about the first half, brownie face."
I mean, he ended up with 439 yards passing. Is that a few? So, and he ended up at the end of the day, and I know, he had 2 picks, but he ended up 11.3 yards an attempt. Like, that's slinging it.
Yeah, I mean, Texas A&M completely took over the second half. It was not even close. Like, South Carolina could literally do nothing in the second half. I mean, they were completely shut down. Texas A&M pulled to Georgia. I mean, let's call it what it is.
They did. They totally dominated the second half. To a degree that not even Georgia has done this season.
No, not yet.
No,
it's not over yet.
So Texas A&M moves to 10-0. They are 7-0 in the SEC. They have 1 conference game left against Texas at the end of the year. Now, they have not clinched a spot in the SEC championship game. There are still some type of scenarios where if they lose to Texas and Georgia wins and strength of schedule and all this stuff, they could not go to the SEC championship. But right now, they've got the inside track to be in Atlanta and to be a playoff team, no doubt.
Yeah, and Georgia just gets to sit back and watch at this point.
After we talk about Georgia, we'll talk about the dream scenario. for
Yes,
Georgia.
yes.
That's
The
even better than
absolute dream.
what we had talked about before.
Yeah, I think I talked a little bit about it yesterday or last night on the post game. I was like, "Holy cow, that could really happen." Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I I don't see how A&M loses. I mean, I know things can happen in rivalry games, and Texas is probably gonna they have something to prove. At least Sark does, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, because Kirby just outcoached Sark and them. But anyway, back to Texas A&M and South Carolina. Um, yeah, that first half, Lenore Sellers looked like Lenore Sellers of last year,
And then he didn't.
and then he didn't.
Yeah, the drop off of Lenora Sellers seriously is going to need to be studied this offseason. I know the team is not as talented. I know, they lost a lot, and he's got one major target in Nick Harbor, but like just some of the especially there at the end, like even the last drive of the game, he took a sack on 3rd down. And then on 4th down, it was like 4th and really long. And he rolled out and then he tried to outrun like 3 guys. Like, at least throw it up. You had nothing else to do. You needed a field goal. Like,
Seriously, you have Nick Harbor. Throw it up. He's down there somewhere.
right. Or throw it up and try to get a pass interference. I mean, like, I don't know. Just
Yeah.
the drop off has been bad.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So for Texas,
oh, go ahead.
so for Texas A&M, I mean, their dream season continues. Thought it was going to be battered Aggie syndrome for A&M that first half, is it was totally looking that way. And right after they announced that they gave Elko an extension, it's like, oh, great. This is this is going to be the most epic meltdown of all time.
People online were like, oh, is the ink dry? Can they pull it back?
I was like, were they still negotiating in the first half?
Yeah. On the flip side, Shane Beamer's still employed, as last time we checked. I don't know. How do you even come back and survive? How do you come back from this? Like, how do
Well,
you get your guys back up to play?
I don't know. But I don't know how South Carolina gets rid of him this year, because there's going to be so many openings.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
so many openings. Like,
Yeah.
all the good coaches are going to get taken.
Yeah. I think they were hoping that that Virginia Tech said, hey, come take your dad's old spot, and they wouldn't have to make a decision. But it looks like James Franklin might be getting that job. So
Yeah. So the good times roll and continue at Texas A&M. They're controlling their own destiny, headed to Atlanta, looking like they're going to be top seed of the SEC, and they will hopefully be playing Bama, who got stunned. Like, when you say a team got stunned, this game was the definition of getting stunned at home. I mean, Oklahoma came in, that defense did its thing, and they did it without one of their best players.
yeah, I mean, yeah, they made Ty Simpson uncomfortable. They continued to do and show what is a real problem for Alabama, which is the inability to consistently rush the football.
Yep.
And they made Ty Simpson throw a horrible pass. They went for a pick six. There was another statistic, speaking of interesting statistics, and I don't know exactly what this one was, but Oklahoma ended up with about 215 yards in the game. And I saw somewhere that was the lowest yardage total by a winning team over another top 10 team in like 25 years in the SEC.
Wow.
Like, if you're going to beat a top 10 team typically in the SEC, you got to put up some offense. You might have crappy, there's always that Auburn Mississippi State game 3-2 where there was no offense, but beating a top 10 team and you only
Classic.
put up 212 yards or whatever it was, that doesn't happen very often. They got just enough. Mateer got that one rushing touchdown. They got the pick six, and then it was field goal city, man. And Alabama had
Yeah.
shots there at the end. They just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, their field goal kicker with the shorty shorts.
Yep.
But Oklahoma's an interesting team, and I got to give it up for Brett Venables. I wasn't necessarily sold on him as a head coach after last year because his defense is awesome, and honestly, they're probably the best defense in the country because they've actually played against good teams. And I will stand on that, stand on business on that, right? Is that what the kids say?
Yeah.
But that defense is so good, and I don't know what to think about John Mateer at this point in the season. It's almost like they're winning despite him.
Yeah. Well, they're winning despite not much contribution really from their offense. I think the most impressive
Just
thing,
enough.
yeah, I think the most impressive thing that I think I've seen out of Oklahoma is the fact that after they lost 2 or 3 conference games and kind of everybody thought they were out of it, they pulled themselves up off the deck and won at Tennessee and at Alabama.
That's a huge accomplishment. Two of the toughest places that you could play.
Right.
And
And
I read something today that was really cool. So John Mateer was in the huddle with his team, and it was loud, it was nuts at Bama, and he asked him, "Is this as bad as Tennessee?" And everybody looked around and said, "No."
yeah. So
No, that was cool.
yeah. So for Alabama, I mean, this doesn't honestly change that much. They still are in control of their own destiny in the SEC race, because they have the tiebreaker with Georgia. You know, people are like, oh, they've got 2 losses now. I'm like, yeah, but one was out of conference. What this really does hurt Alabama,
It was a
though.
bad loss, so
Yeah, well, and that's where this could really hurt Alabama, though, is
yeah,
that
in the playoff, yeah,
if they
not in
lose in the
conference.
if they lose in the SEC championship now, and they've got 3 losses, and they're up in it, and let's say it's them and Oklahoma getting considered for that last playoff spot, which is a distinct possibility of something that could happen. Or somebody else. Let's say it's Notre Dame at 10-2, or somebody else like that. And Alabama's got that horrible Florida State loss, and they've got this loss where they were favored by a good bit at home. And then they pick up a 3rd loss in the SEC's championship, say to a Texas A&M. Like, it's not so comfortable in Tuscaloosa right now.
No, it's not. But if they make it to the SEC championship, then I think they're going to be fine with the playoff committee, because
of their schedule.
Well, there's yeah, exactly. I mean, they have the best resume of wins of anybody.
Oklahoma's got 4 ranked wins.
Oh yeah,
too, though.
Actually, Oklahoma does too. So yeah, that is true. But just in terms of like, okay, if you got to pick them or Notre Dame or anybody else besides Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's an easy pick there. And the other reason is the committee has said, well, they did this last year too, that they're not going to necessarily punish you for losing in a conference championship game.
Right. That's why I said, I mean, the main person that you would be looking at is this being troublesome is Oklahoma. I mean, because it would be head to head.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they would still both be able to get in.
You think you would think, but
yeah,
crazier things, right?
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. College football is just nuts week to week.
Yeah.
But that's why we love it. And that's why you love college football. So if you love college football, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little subscribe button down at the bottom right of your screen, and watch some more college football content. We love talking ball. we know a little bit about ball.
I saw some ball last night because I was in the stadium last night,
Very nice.
and all I got to say is G's up, horns down.
Boom.
It was a beautiful thing. It was a game that Georgia was in control of, and they made one mistake and let Texas get back into it. And as you said last night on the show, live show last night, Kirby said,
He said,
it
nah,
ain't
nah.
happening. It ain't happening. Georgia scores a touchdown. I went to go take a leak. I'm walking out of the bathroom and people are like, oh my God, we onside kicked it.
Yeah.
It was a fun night in Athens, but the most impressive thing that I think out of this game, Gunnar had 5 touchdowns. That's awesome, but the offense has been cooking all year. This is the Georgia defense that we thought we had coming into the year. And they did it
without their best player.
That's what I was about to say. They did it last night without their best player. They did it with Christian Miller also being out some of the game. They did it without Kyron Jones. They did it with Zion Branch. They did it with DeMello Jones. They did it with Chris Cole. They did it with Gabe Harris. These are the young guys that Kirby's been talking about. The difference is now they have the experience. They've played enough. Georgia took those lumps. Elijah Griffin. They took their lumps. Elijah Griffin had like 9 tackles last night.
He did.
Like, it was crazy. They got to Arch. They made Arch uncomfortable, and Arch played a pretty darn good game, all things considered, last night.
Arch, he really impressed me last night. You know, for as much crap as he's gotten this year about being bad and a bust and everything,
yeah,
his receivers let him down.
They let him down early
last night.
They let him down early, and that got him rattled. After that, he was rattled. He was off.
He was rattled, but he was still making really good throws.
Yeah,
but
the one in the one right when they scored the touchdown, the third down throw, not the PI, but the other one, that was a dime between 2 guys. That was a nice throw. Yeah, I mean the play when they were back on their goal line and they ended up getting that 45-yard play. I know it was a little dump off, but that was a very nice play that they ran there too. I think the biggest surprising thing out of Arch Manning's performance was that they didn't use him that much in the running game, because Texas had no rushing game whatsoever. I think the stat is that in the 3 games over the last 2 years that Georgia's played Texas has ran for a grand total of 70 yards in 3 games. That's nuts, especially considering that Texas has a big offensive line, has, good players. And last year they were a very good running team. But I was surprised they didn't use Arch more. I was very proud, though, that 1 3rd and long, they tried to run the old quarterback draw that Florida gashed us with and that Mississippi State gashed us with. And Georgia stopped that too. But yeah, like I said, the defense was impressive. The first drive of the game opened up. Texas meandered down the field, 3rd downs. It looked like same old. Georgia got the stop that they needed, got a couple breaks. They kicked the field goal. But that next drive, after Georgia had taken the lead, you knew it was different. You knew it was on, because there were 2 plays back to back where Georgia just absolutely destroyed Texas and made them hurt. DeMello Jones destroyed a dude, picked him up, Alabama slam down to the ground. And then the next play, they ran it out to the side, and C.J. Allen absolutely destroyed another guy. And you were like, all right, you could feel it in the crowd, and people were looking around. You knew it was on, that Georgia was coming to hit that, and they did.
That tackle by DeMello Jones was amazing. I mean, it was beautiful.
Yeah. DeMello Jones had a freaking game last night, let me tell you. Like, he had a nice pass breakup on, he had a couple of good defenses. He had a couple of good tackles. He's turned into a player. Getting him in at that other corner, where we've struggled, getting him more playing time has been a revelation, I think, in that defensive backfield, because he's a player. And is he a sophomore, freshman, redshirt freshman, sophomore?
Well, between him and Ellis Robinson, I mean, Ellis Robinson's playing amazing.
He's finally playing good too. Um, yeah, defense. I mean, you just loved all the things. You love the fact that Zayden Walker had hardly played, and then he had the strip sack. He's making plays now, and so it seemed like everybody rallied around after CJ Allen went down. Chris Cole was a man possessed. Raylan Wilson the last 2 weeks has found something, because earlier in the year I kept feeling like CJ Allen was covering for Raylan Wilson's deficiencies. Last 2 weeks, I don't have much bad to say about Raylan Wilson. He looks like a man possessed. No. Justin Williams stepped in, played well. I mean, everybody. You can't really say much bad about that defensive performance last night.
No, not at all. Not at all. It got a little dicey there for a little bit. Right before half, there was some weird vibes going on. Georgia squandered an opportunity to put Texas away early, and then squandered it again coming out of halftime. But then after Texas scored that touchdown and it seemed like all the momentum was shifting, next thing you know, Georgia puts the clamp down and scores 21 points before anybody could turn their heads.
Yeah. Another impressive performance by the Georgia offense. Mike Bobo, Stacey Searles. Bobo needs to be at least a finalist for the Broyles Award. This has been his best season calling plays. And I'll tell you what, being in the stadium last night, and I don't know how it was on TV. I haven't watched the replay yet. It felt like how we were running play action was different than how we have all year this year. There was a little more holding the ball, a little more movement in the backfield. It just looked different. And definitely the touchdown play to Lawson Lucky. We have not ran that where Gunner was definitely looking like he ran it in the last minute, picked it up and throw it. We haven't run that all year. But it just felt different.
That play was really cool because they set it up 2 plays earlier when they had Gunner do the quarterback run sweep around the right side. And he got a pretty good gain on that one. Yeah. So they see him do it again, and except this time, boom, touchdown.
And that first drive, speaking of the first drive of the game, Gunner was the only one who ran the football that first drive of the game. We didn't let the running backs touch the ball. And I kept saying, all right, we're going to hit something at some point, because we kept running the screen outs to Branch that didn't really work. And let me say this about Texas's defense. That might be the best tackling team that I've seen play in Sanford Stadium. They didn't miss anything.
No, they didn't.
Such a good tackling team.
But I think Bobo was using Branch more as a decoy to set up some other things, because the thing that was different about these screen passes is they didn't have any blockers out in front of them. Like, they were just throwing it straight to them and saying good luck. Whereas
that's why I kept thinking eventually we were going to hit a run up the middle, because eventually they were going to pull somebody out there on Branch and it was going to leave one defender. I mean, it didn't really happen. Frazier had one run of like 21 yards or something, but you just felt like it was coming in there. London Humphreys had a couple nice catches, a first down, and then the touchdown. Delp had a couple nice plays. Noah Thomas season. Guy's got 4 touchdowns.
I got to say this. So you're mentioning Bobo and Searles. Another guy you got to give some props to, James Coley.
Yeah. As long as James Coley ain't calling the play, he's a good coach to have on your team.
Exactly. I mean, what Georgia did in the portal solved a huge need, and Georgia's been reaping the benefits with Zachariah Branch all year. But now we're starting to see Noah Thomas emerge as a very reliable receiver. I mean, 2 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Another thing you saw last night that I have not seen in the game this year, and I don't know, I noticed it from my vantage point. We ran multiple times where we had the receivers on the field were Landon Rolden, CJ Wiley, and Zakovi White. Now, those are 2 freshmen and a sophomore, like, that haven't played a lot. And those guys out together, those were only receivers. There was a couple plays. And we tried to hit the pass to rolled in last week against Mississippi State.
Yeah.
There's a play coming for him. He's going to hit one.
Yeah. We also tried to get the ball to Elias Williams again.
Yeah, it was covered.
Yeah. Man,
but honestly,
so
Gunner had a great game, minus one one bad pass though. Anthony Hill is an amazing linebacker, and he made a great play.
It was still a bad decision by Gunner. That was a stretch. It was like a 3-drive stretch that Gunner or 2-drive stretch where he made like 3 poor decisions. 1 or 2 of them had to do with RPOs, where one time, the first one, if he would have kept the ball instead of handing it off, he could have ran for days. And then the opposite of that, like a few plays later, if he'd have just handed it off, it would have been run for days. And then you have the interception. Yeah. And the thing that really sucked about that interception was that Gunner was trying to force it over the middle into coverage, which we've seen him do several times with success, in all fairness. But he had a receiver wide open one-on-one down the right side.
Yeah. But it's hard to complain about Gunner's day, because
he only had 5 incompletions.
Right. I was about to say he was responsible for 5 touchdowns and he had 5 incompletions. So he's got to be in the Heisman conversation now. Just even statistically, he's approaching the same statistics that Stetson Bennett had almost. He's up to, what's he up to, like 27 total touchdowns responsible for? So I think Stetson had like 31 when he went to New York or something like that. So
yeah, he's at 27.
Yeah, because he's got 9 on the ground and 18 through the air, or vice versa.
Yeah, he's actually right there with Julian Sayin in terms of numbers.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I mean, the big difference there is Sayin's completing 80% of his passes, while Gunner's only completing a measly 70%.
But he completed 81% last night against one of the best defenses in the country. Not
exactly.
Not a good passing defense, though, I must say. But
still.
But I was glad.
Still, they get after the quarterback, and they did.
I mean, they, like I said, Texas didn't miss any tackles. Georgia had 128 yards rushing, and every freaking yard was earned.
Yes.
I mean, Chauncey Bowens, we were joking in the stadium that Georgia liked to give it to Chauncey Bowens so that we would go to 2nd and 12, as I think that happened 3 times in the game.
Yeah, it wasn't working for him. But man, Nate Frazier had himself a day.
Yeah.
He ran so hard, had like 70 yards, and just tough runs.
Yeah. Yep. And then, like I said, Bowens did not have a great day. I haven't heard any update on him. It looked like he just got his bell rung. I think he's okay.
Yeah, he kind of like lowered his head when he was going into the pile, and I think he just got his bell rung there.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the biggest concern coming out of this game is CJ Allen. No update today, though. It's some type of knee. They said they were doing an MRI, though. He was walking around on a crutch, precautionary, but he said thought he was okay. But I don't know. It scares me. Like I said, the backups did play well, but you never want to lose a guy that has been so good and has gotten so much better as the years gone on. I mean, he really is the leader of that defense, and it would suck to lose him, but at least we got some guys that can fill it in.
You need all hands on deck once you get into the playoffs, because you get in a game with Ohio State, you need CJ Allen.
Yeah.
Because he's that leader, that defense holding everybody accountable. I mean, it's amazing to see how Georgia has grown up throughout this season. What is it, like 40-something% of the team is underclassmen?
Try 54%.
54%. Yeah. So it's something crazy. I knew you would know. That's why I put it out there.
Yeah. I mean, lots of people have said it this morning. Georgia's not the football team you want to play right now.
No. And they're not the same team that started this season either.
No.
All around. Yeah.
I mean, ironically,
Gunner Stockton I mean, just look at Gunnar Stockton, the progress that he made from game one to now is incredible. On the defensive side, the secondary has stepped up and is playing really, really well. And that was a huge issue at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And now we're finally starting to see some pass rush.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Because Georgia
and don't
definitely
forget about the offensive line, who's got 3 freshmen on it.
right. Yeah. I mean the pass rush, for all how maligned it's been, it was definitely there. They were definitely getting some pressure to Arch, and I know Texas offensive line has struggled this year, but I think that was part of the reason that some of Arch's passes were just a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know,
that's
it
all it
wasn't
takes.
big, especially with his little side throwing motion. But like I said, at the end of the day, I think there's a couple takeaways here. Georgia outcoached Texas in this game by a lot. Kirby Smart said, yeah, and it wasn't just, I mean, yes, the onside kick was a brilliant call. It was the 4th downs right after Texas had gotten back in the game, the balls to do it, but to also understand
that play that they ran
was awesome.
was awesome. A lineman lined up at fullback or something and then motioned, and then Gunner came from the shotgun, got under center. It was like the weirdest thing.
Like I said, they had some plays drawn up that they were holding back. But I mean, just overall the coaching stuff, even the the decisions to try to not let Niblett run it back, which Thorson had probably his worst game. He shanked a couple, and then finally Kirby chewed his tail out. I don't know if they even showed it on TV after it was a punt where they ended up downing it at like the 20. But like Thorson easily could have kicked it inside the 10, but he was like scared about the return and then didn't want to. Kirby chewed Thorson out like big time. And I doubt they showed it on TV, but
no, they didn't show it at all because I just assumed it was part of the game plan.
Yeah, no, not that one. Kirby was pissed.
But still, it was effective.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't let Niblett, beat us on a touchdown in the punt game, which is what has won Texas a couple games this year.
Yeah. So, just a couple observations about the day. I mean, my God, it was the most gorgeous day. It was warm, not hot at all. Stadium filled in. I mean, we ended up going in pretty early. The stadium was filled up pretty good by about 45 minutes before game time. It was filled up earlier than it was for Bama. The crowd was great. The crowd was loud. There were not a lot of Texas fans, to be honest with you. They, even that whole 600 level, they normally will sell that to a road team. They only had people in the one little corner. They didn't bring their whole band. They only brought a small portion of their band. There really were not nearly as many Texas fans as I thought.
We should have made them put their band like way in the 600 level, like they did us last year.
Yeah, though there was, when we were leaving, there was one Texas fan that was trying to fight like 30 Georgia people, and I was like, dude, you just got your tail kicked. Like, just shut your mouth and move on. Lots of horns down in the crowd, like every single person. They had like all these. They had like some signees. They had 2 golf signees that are like the U.S. Junior Amateur champion and stuff, and both guys were throwing horns down. Like a guy in the tennis team was throwing horns down. There was a lot of horns down. I guess McConaughey was there, though they never put him up on the screen. That would have been funny.
Yeah, they didn't show him too much on television either.
Yeah.
Which is kind of good.
Yeah. They did not play that stupid sound on 2nd and 3rd down, thank God.
I was so happy about that. I was like, thank God I'm hearing the band.
They actually toned down the music overall, really. It was a little bit more, they still played some piped, music, but yeah. But overall, it was a fantastic day. Fun game, fun crowd. And Georgia's looking good, man.
How cool was it that Cash Jones recovered the onside kick and got to put on the Savage pads?
Yeah. And Kirby said that they'd been practicing that, and he said that that in practice
for years.
Well, and he said they said this year they've been practicing. He said Thorson and Cash Jones executed that just like they did about 80% of the time, like perfect bounce. So they've been saving that one. And somebody said that Texas knew Georgia had that, and they were actually kind of prepared for it, but they just didn't.
Man, they kept showing the special teams coach for Texas, and yeah, and he kept doing this thing, and it just reminded me of that meme of the Indian guy at the NBA game who's like,
yeah. Now, I have seen some chatter online that Texas fans were complaining about the refs, but Texas is the 135th out of 136 teams in penalties. This was like their 7th or 8th game with at least 9 penalties. They held all the time.
I got to make a statement. My timeline on X has been nothing but people posting stupid photos of referees missing calls or whatever. And it's not just this week. It's every freaking week. Like, do y'all have nothing better to do than take still shots of blurry ass holding potential calls or pass interference or what? I mean, it's the dumbest shit ever, man. Stop posting that. I hate it. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Post something that's like worth looking at. I mean, my God.
I just thank God that there were no any real controversy calls in this game, and no bottles were thrown on the field.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I mean, I hopefully the people at the front, the gates, when Texas people came in, they checked them for bottles and and all that. But yeah, I mean, I'm tired of seeing these things.
Yeah.
And it's every week and it's every game. Come on, y'all. As a society, you can't blame everything on the refs. At some point, your team's got to freaking step up and play.
Yeah.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Yep. So like I said, for another year, G's up, horns down. And Texas, somebody proclaimed you the new king of the SEC last year.
Oh, they were the new Alabama.
They were the new Alabama. Well, this is going to be another year where you're not going to be the conference champion, and this year you're probably not going to be in the playoff.
Yep. Georgia is to Texas what Bama is to Georgia.
Not yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah, we got some years to put in on that first, but so far, I mean, Texas got to hate us. But that was a lot of fun. College football, we love it. It's so much fun. If you love college football, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button down at the bottom right of your screen. It's college football, man.
Yeah.
Come talk to us. It's all good. Okay, so another game that there was some concern about was how BYU was going to respond after the loss to Texas Tech. And it turns out they responded pretty well.
They probably played their best game of the season.
They actually did. They actually did.
They didn't quite take it to Georgia TCU levels against TCU, but 44-13, that's a pretty good drubbing for the old BYU Cougars.
Yeah, they look good. It was a good bounce back. Glad to see that. So this coming week, it's a big matchup between them and Cincinnati. Whoever wins that is going to play Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship.
Yep, and it'll be interesting because that's another, we were talking about interesting scenarios with playoff teams. If BYU gets to that Big 12 championship, let's say they lose again, and Texas Tech is the only team to beat them, they've got 2 losses to the same team versus a Alabama team, maybe with 3 losses. What does that factor in? Alabama probably gets in, but it's just something to think about.
Absolutely. I mean, BYU is like the one bubble team right now that you're like, why are they not in?
Yeah. Bachmeier had a good game, had a bounce back game, had 296 passing. He had 59 rushing. He had 2 touchdowns. They got back on track with their rushing game, had 151 yards. So after getting totally shut down by Texas Tech, it was nice to see them bounce back. There were some people online that were picking TCU in the upset here. There was some talk about, oh, Josh Hoover, he's a great quarterback. Yeah, the guy went 10-23 with 2 picks. BYU shut them down, and they'll move forward. It's be a big matchup with Cincinnati this week.
Yep, as Bill Belichick says, on to Cincinnati.
On Cincinnati.
Speaking of Belichick, the ACC picture's starting to pan out. I'm very upset that Duke shit the bed.
man. Burl's ultimate chaos scenario didn't happen.
I wanted it. I wanted the chaos scenario. It would have been so sweet.
But who picked Virginia to win the game?
You did. You did.
Yeah. I mean,
winning picks,
Virginia. Virginia played well. I think I'm more pissed that Georgia Tech won another game that they should not have won. They won against a 1-9 Boston College. Earlier in the year, Georgia Tech was playing great, and everybody's like, oh, amongst Georgia fans, Tech's going to be so tough. That's our toughest game left. And dude, Tech has no defense. They are a one-man team on offense. Granted, he's freaking amazing, but
this man has no defense.
Yeah, they. I mean, you almost lose to Boston College. Who did you see? You see the injury report?
Tech has almost lost to everybody this year.
But it wasn't just to Boston College, 1-9 Boston College. The injury report, I think I sent it to you. Like Tech had like 2 people. Boston College had like 25 guys on the injury report. Like it was nuts. It was the craziest injury report I've ever seen. It was like half their team. So yeah, I mean they squeak by. They're probably going to play in Atlanta they've got an interesting game next week against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, against Pitt, and Pitt obviously was not really worried about Notre Dame this week.
Yeah, no, they weren't. They were focused on making the ACC championship. So Virginia's back in control, of its destiny, and Tech Pittsburgh meet next week. So Pitt's 5-1, conference Tech 6-1. SMU's still alive in there. So we're going to get a ACC championship game out of 2 of those 4.
Yeah, it's looking like it's probably going to be Virginia versus SMU, because you got to think that Miami's going to beat Pitt.
Yeah. Well, you got to think
never know.
Georgia Tech. You got to think Georgia Tech might beat Pitt too.
I don't know. You got to think that Pitt might be Georgia Tech.
Very true. Very true. I guess Georgia Tech, if they win, they're in, right?
Yeah. If they win against, yeah, exactly. That's their last ACC game.
And who is Virginia? Oh, Virginia's only got 1 conference loss because the other one was NC State and it was out of conference.
Right.
So I wonder how the tiebreaker would go between them and SMU. Obviously, Tech and Pittsburgh play this week, so one of them will be out. So it's either, it's the winner of Tech, Pitt, and then Virginia and SMU. So I don't know what the tiebreaker is, but
yeah, I don't care. But it's fun to watch. I'm just upset didn't get the chaos, but we did see a little bit of chaos. The Naval Academy, can they rep the G5?
Yeah, it right now, they're still not ranked, which is weird. I think North Texas is now ranked, and James Madison is ranked. So you would need that winner of the American to jump James Madison or have James Madison lose, because I think James Madison's kind of in control right now.
Yeah.
I was talking with somebody at the game on Saturday. The interesting situation for somebody in the playoff, how great would it be if it worked out in the bracket that somebody would play James Madison in the first round and then play Indiana in the second round? Because James Madison, that's where Signetti was. He left some of those guys that are still there at James Madison or some of his players in his system. It'd be like you get Indiana light and then Indiana the next weekend.
Yeah, I don't see how that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Indiana would have to fall to number 4 or 4
Yeah.
seed,
Well,
which
they could. I mean, it's not going to be Georgia.
I mean, if they get their crap kicked in by Ohio State, possibly.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
they'll
with Alabama losing, it's kind of opened that up a little bit more as a possibility. But like you mentioned, Navy did pull the upset this week, knocked off South Florida. They, are in competition there for the American Conference. They're currently in first place. They're 6-1, and then North Texas and Tulane are there too. But we shall see. One of those teams is going to make the playoff.
Yeah, G5. It's fun stuff.
Yep.
All right, you want to talk some Heisman?
Let's talk some Heisman.
Okay. So I went down a rabbit hole today because I wanted to know more about these Heisman candidates. So the list that I've made is strictly the list from what any pundit has said or I have heard.
Yeah.
Whether it's on College Game Day or on the radio or whatever. So at number 1, my leader in the clubhouse right now is Fernando Mendoza. I mean, this guy. So out of this list, I sorted it. I guess I looked at who is in the top 5 of touchdowns, like most touchdowns, and then top 5 and most yards. Only Mendoza, Pavia, and Marcel Reed fit that description. And Fernando Mendoza, top of the list. He's got the most yards. He's got the most touchdowns. He's got more touchdowns than anybody in this list. He's got 35.
Yeah.
I mean, dude's slinging it. He's killing it. He's got a 73% completion percentage, 89 QBR. And their strength of schedule's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not like it was last year.
Right. Yeah. Oregon is helping them out there.
Yeah. So I think he's going to be the leader in the clubhouse. Another strong contender at number 2. I got Diego Pavia. He's top 5 in yards, top 5 in TDs, and my list, not nationally top 5. I want to make that clear. And the thing that he has going for him is that he's changed the culture of Vanderbilt when it comes to football.
Yeah.
And they still have a chance to go into Knoxville and knock off Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets a showcase game the last week of the season, the regular season.
Yeah. So that could be his Heisman moment.
Yeah. Well, your next guy kind of had his Heisman moment Saturday.
He damn right he did. Marcel Reed, good Lord. First half was something to shy away from, but that second half, Herculean.
Yeah.
I mean,
if they can finish this out, if they go undefeated, they win the SEC championship game. I don't know. At Texas A&M, I don't know if people can't put him at the top. I mean, it's hard, right? Statistically, yes, he's not as accurate as some of these other guys. He's only around 60% completion, but he adds that dynamic rushing attack too. And just the team. Once again, a lot of times the Heisman is a team thing. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's probably more than likely going to come down to Mendoza and Marcel Reed at the end of the day. I mean, the other two that I have on my list that I think will make it to New York is Jeremiah Love and Jacob Rodriguez. And I
Let
think
me
that
talk about my boy Jacob Rodriguez for a minute
yeah.
here. Yeah,
Well, I think they'll get invited to New York simply because they're not quarterbacks.
yeah. So last week on here, we shilled for Jacob Rodriguez. And what did he do this week? He got another interception, and they put him in on the goal line, and he scored a touchdown and hit the Heisman post. You gotta
Did you
love
hear,
this guy.
did you hear what his coach said?
No, what'd he say?
He said something like, well, they kept saying, he doesn't have any touchdowns, so put him in to score a touchdown.
Exactly. So, like I said, he added another interception. So he's got 4 interceptions. He's got 7 forced fumbles, 8 forced fumbles. He's got 2 fumble recoveries. He's got like 4 sacks. Now he's got a rushing touchdown on a team that's probably, the second best or third best defense in the country. I hope he gets an invite because I think it's warranted. Is he going to win? No, but I hope he gets a chance to go because I think it's a great story. And as much as I don't love the buying of the team, this is get one guy on that Texas Tech team that wasn't bought. And I think he's the heart and soul of that team.
Yeah, because he walked on, bet on himself, and it's paid off big time.
Yep.
And of course, Jeremiah Love. I mean, he's the best running back in the nation.
So good.
So it'd be a shame if he doesn't at least get a trip to New York out of this.
I must say, though, if Haynes King, if Georgia Tech wins if they beat Georgia, if Haynes King beats Georgia and they win their conference and they end up 12-1, he'll be in New York because singularly there is no like all these guys are great. There is nobody on that list that does more for their team than Haynes King. He is that team. Like Pavia is a lot too, but God, Haynes King, Georgia Tech does not have much on defense as we mentioned, but Haynes King is that team. That's that guy.
He absolutely is, and I agree. If Georgia Tech somehow beats Georgia, he has to be there. I mean, and he's got to be. I would bump him up pretty high in this list if that was the case.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if he can beat our boy Gunner because Gunner's.
Yeah. So I got the top 5. That's who I think will make it to New York, and then you've got the bubble folks. So Gunner Stockton's at the top of that list. I mentioned earlier, very similar stats to Julian Sayin in the passing game, but Gunner has that running element. He's got 8 rushing touchdowns, I think it is. Yeah. 19 passing, 8 rushing, total of 27, only 3 interceptions. And Julian Sayin's right there too. They're very close in yards. Julian Sayin's got about 300 or 400 more on the season. But Gunner's got 350 yards rushing and to 20 yards.
Yeah.
That Julian Sayin's doing. So 2 different quarterbacks. But Gunner actually has the better numbers.
Yeah.
So if people are going to put Julian Sayin in that Heisman conversation, you got to put Gunner Stockton in there too.
Yeah, because Gunner contributes with his legs.
And look at who he's played compared to what Ohio State has played. Gunner Stockton's played the 12th toughest schedule.
Yeah.
Julian
Stockton
played
also
the
doesn't
50th.
have Cornell Tate and Jeremiah Smith either.
No, but he's got Zachariah Branch and Noah Thomas. I mean, come on. But yeah, Julian Saint's playing the 50th toughest schedule in the country. I mean, that's got to count for something.
Yep.
Ty Simpson's run for the Heisman kind of took a big hit this week. I really kind of think he's out of it, unless somehow they win the SEC. Yeah. But I just don't see that happening.
Yeah. Well, it's just that in their 2 losses he's had, and that he really didn't have a bad game against Florida State or this week, but he threw a bad pick 6 this week that ended up kind of being the difference. So.
Yep. He sure did. So let us know what you what you think about our Heisman discussion. Who do you think should win the Heisman? Let us know in the comments. Hit us up on social media, but most importantly, hit that subscribe button down at the bottom right of your screen. If you love college football, we're talking it all the time. Okay, time to talk CFP. So we've got an updated list or updated standings bracket, whatever you want to call it, updated bracket. So starting at the top, Ohio State.
To be the man, you got to beat the man.
There you go.
I missed my cue.
You did. Yep, we got Ohio State. Last week, we projected Texas A&M to take that number 2 spot, with the assumption that Ohio State beats Indiana in the Big Ten championship. So that would put Indiana probably at 3. And since Bama lost this week, and they will probably, I think, more than likely lose the SEC championship. And I think that puts Georgia at number 4 without even having to play in the SEC championship.
And that presents Georgia with what we were talking about as the ultimate scenario for anybody here. And that would be Georgia not playing in the SEC championship, so getting that week as a bye, and then also not playing in the first round of the playoffs. So getting a double bye, whereas Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M would all have to play in their conference championship game first and risk, like Georgia did last year, of getting an injury that could impact them down the road.
If that happens, I guarantee you this is what's going to happen on my Twitter feed. All those people that are posting still shots of plays that should have been penalties, they're going to be complaining about this system being rigged and Georgia getting all the breaks.
Or they'll know what's going to happen is everybody who doesn't like Georgia that week before is going to totally turn into Texas Tech fans, because they're going to be saying all the reasons that Texas Tech, if they win their conference, should be moved up. Because right now we have Ole Miss at 5. So they're not going to make arguments that Ole Miss should get it, because then they would be in the same situation Georgia had. And Georgia has a win over Ole Miss, so that's not going to happen. It would be, if it came out different, it would be Texas Tech jump. Now, so much like in the BCS in the past, conference championship games have sometimes weighted heavier in these rankings. And so I absolutely could see a situation where we walk into that last week before conference championship games and it looks like this, though Indiana might still be at 2. Texas Tech wins, Ohio State wins, A&M wins, and in the final bracket, Georgia gets bumped to 5. And Texas Tech would go to 4.
It's a possibility, because it's a group of people making the decision, and they're not really anything scientific about it.
No, though they said they added all these strength of record and all that stuff, and then I don't know if it's really been reflected.
Yeah, when you look at their rankings, it's very much by their record.
Yeah.
We'll get wins and losses. That's all it's come down to.
Yeah.
No matter who you played.
Yeah.
So that would be awesome. That'd be the absolute dream scenario. And that's what I'm hoping for. So we need Bama to win out and lose in the SEC championship.
Yeah. The other reason, just thinking ahead to this, that they might bump that Texas Tech up is to try to avoid a Georgia Ole Miss rematch there in the quarterfinals. But
maybe. The only reason I would see them potentially putting Texas there at 4, or Texas Tech at 4, is simply if they're like, okay, we're only going to consider conference champions for these buys.
But they're not. That was the whole point of not doing that specifically.
Oh, I know, but yeah. I mean, they left their hats at the front of the room,
True,
out of the room. So,
true.
I mean, There's no agendas on this committee. There's no.
No, not like the head of the committee had to like resign this week.
Yeah, wasn't he Big 12?
Yeah. So, but yeah, so after those, after Ole Miss, right now we have Oregon at 6, but that's a
Tricky
shaky
game.
that's a shaky 6 to me because they've got USC this week. And you asked me today, do I see USC beating Oregon? I said right now I kind of think I do.
It's totally possible. I mean, USC actually looked pretty dang good against Iowa in the rain.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, under that scenario, if USC ends up getting into the playoffs and they knock Oregon out, they've got 2 losses, so they're going to be a little bit down, which opens up the opportunity, for somebody else, obviously Texas Tech, to move up in that situation that we were talking about before.
If that happens, I don't know that the Big Ten gets any more teams in other than Ohio State and Indiana, because right behind everybody right now is Vanderbilt. You got Georgia Tech, you got Miami, you got BYU, who will have 2 losses, but only to the same team.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting conversation there.
So I hope that chaos happens.
Yeah. So,
but since I said that, it probably won't.
Yeah. So right now, after that, at 8 and 9, we've got Oklahoma, who I think this win has really buffed up their chance to get back into the playoff. And then Notre Dame at 8. I think Notre Dame's in, barring disaster. They are in.
Yeah.
The writing's on the wall at this point, but they're also playing really good. Like the whole eye test thing, their only losses were by a combined 5 points to teams, to Texas A&M and Miami ranked teams.
Yeah.
Like they deserve to be there at this point. With as many other teams having lost, I know they don't have the conference championship and their schedule outside of that has been weak, but they did beat Navy, who is now, up there at the top of their conference. And so, and they put a good hurting on Pittsburgh this week. So.
That's the thing, is they've been destroying everybody that they played.
Yeah.
And,
except for Boston College.
Yeah.
Struggle a little bit.
Well, hey, I mean, Boston College almost beat Georgia Tech. I mean, that
right.
ACC is a grinder, man.
Even when you're ACC adjacent, you're like Notre Dame.
Exactly. So this drops Bama all the way down to 10. So again, I'm saying they lose the SEC championship, but won't be penalized by the committee, because in the final rankings, they'll probably be at 9 or 10 going into the SEC championship game. So,
and because of their schedule, because they had those, all those ranked wins, their resume is strong enough. That loss to Florida State hurts. And if it comes down to Oklahoma and Bama, if let's say Bama loses the SEC championship game and it comes down to Bama and Oklahoma, it's going to be a real interesting conversation.
Absolutely. It will be, for sure. But yeah, I don't think they're going to get penalized. And then at 11, Virginia's probably going to win the ACC. Maybe. it's kind of a crapshoot. Someone has to. No one wants to, but somebody has to.
Yep.
And Virginia looked really good this weekend.
Yeah, they did. They came out and played well.
That game.
Yeah,
they did. And right now they're not ranked in the top 12, but it's like the 4 highest ranked conference champions get in.
Yeah. Well, and there's 4 teams from the ACC there that are ranked in that middle section, right? You've got Virginia, Georgia Tech, Miami, and SMU all right there. So it's all going to shake out. It's just a question of how does Miami figure out a way to weasel in or not.
Yeah. Miami. Okay. All right. So Virginia there at 11, James Madison at 12. We talked about that earlier. It doesn't look like they're going to lose to anybody. So the scenarios that we have is if how do we get Vandy or Miami into the game, into the playoff? Because I only see it being one or the other. It can't be both.
Right. So did Miami play? Miami lost to SMU, right?
Yes.
So SMU would get in over Miami there. Miami didn't play Virginia, and they didn't play Georgia Tech.
Yeah, but Miami's ranked ahead of them.
True.
Miami's ranked pretty high right now.
Yeah.
Like they're right on the bubble. It's them and Georgia Tech, like or not Georgia Tech, but Vanderbilt. They're right on that bubble.
Yeah. Vanderbilt, the way Vanderbilt gets in is Alabama losing to Auburn in the Iron Bowl.
I agree.
Which sends Georgia to the SEC championship game, and that's how. And Vandy has to beat Tennessee, obviously, to close the season. Vandy closing the season with a win over Tennessee. Alabama losing to Auburn gets Vandy in. That's this.
Yeah,
that's pretty much their path.
If USC were to beat Oregon, and Bama loses to Auburn, and Vandy loses to Tennessee, then I think Miami gets in.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dominoes that have to fall.
It's a lot of dominoes, man. But hey, that's what it is, man. Like coming into this week, nobody thought that Oklahoma looked down on its luck. Nobody thought they were going to beat Bama. So
no,
it looked like South Carolina was going to knock off A&M. So
it did. But that's why they play 60 minutes.
That's why they play the game.
And speaking of, we have gone over the 60-minute mark. So let us know what you think of our CFP projections. Where do we get it right? Where do we get it wrong? Where do you think teams should be ranked or seeded here? Let us know in the comments. Hit us up on social media. Like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button if you love college football.
Yep.
All right. Any parting words of wisdom for us today?
Nah, man. That was a great week. This week, not so many great games. It's the SEC easier week heading into rivalry week the next week. So just enjoy it. Enjoy a less stress weekend because there are less stress games for most of your teams.
I'm glad you said it, not me, because I can't say rivalry week.
Come on, man.
It's a struggle. It's a struggle. Deep South here, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this week. We'll be back next week, and look out for some drops throughout the week. Until then, I'm Burl.
I'm Streit.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.